What is up, you guys, and welcome back finally to another video on my channel. Y'all, I've been away for quite some time. Let me tell you something. February was caca, okay? March wasn't bad, but it was giving caca vibes, okay? And I had to shift my perspective and the way that I was thinking, the way that I was feeling about myself, and just show up where I can. And really that was through my other social media platforms such as Instagram, through my Bookstagram specifically. I was able just to show up freely a little bit better there instead of just sitting down making content, filming and editing and all the things. Now I love the whole process of uploading to YouTube and doing all the things, but it can be a lot, especially when February was just such an unexpected month for me. My son sprained his ankle. No, I shouldn't say sprained. He tore a ligament in his left ankle, and that was scary for us. He's my first baby, okay? He's 14, but he's giving me all the experiences, okay? So I had to experience that. And then my youngest, not my youngest, my third youngest, Marky, we had to pull him out of VPK for a situation that happened at his school, and now he's home. And since he's been home in February, forget about it. Him and the other little one, Andrew, won't stop going at it. You guys, they fight like cat and dog every 3 seconds. It is a brother thing. I get it. But y'all, it was just a lot to take on in February, considering the fact that, Marky has been in VPK since August of last year. So it was really just a big adjustment to have him home in the mornings again and shifting my morning routine. And then March, I feel like everything started to simmer down. We were getting back into the groove of things, and I wanted to film, I wanted to do other things. But then, y'all, what is that thing called? What is that word that I'm looking for? Imposter syndrome, there you go, came creeping in, and I was just like, self-sabotaging myself and second-guessing myself and telling myself that I wasn't not good enough, but I wasn't, I didn't play the role as a social media personality, you know what I mean? And I couldn't just show up as me. I don't know what was going through my mind, girl, but I had to shake the funk, you know what I'm saying? I had to really shake the funk, and I just started showing up as me a little bit more in March, especially on my Bookstagram. I feel like it was really fun just to talk to y'all on my Bookstagram. If you're here from my Bookstagram, hello, girl. I'm telling you, I just love connecting with people through books, and then somehow, some way, we have these beautiful organic conversations, and we're just talking, and that just fills my cup. I just love it. I love meeting y'all. Anywho, this video, in this video, we're going to be talking about our April TBR. And I don't know how I feel about TBR. Is that something we should discuss in the comments? How are we feeling about TBRs? Is this something that we should do going forward? Because I will say, in February, I only read 2 books. I told you I had a very chaotic month, okay? And then in March, I think I read 1, 2, 3 books. So I did one more better, right? But it was like one of those things where I was just kind of pulling it off the shelf and I was just reading. It was like como quiera situation. It felt amazing not to have a TBR and just pull whatever I wanted to read. So I wonder going forward if I should do TBRs and just, just kind of be a mood reader. Everyone keeps talking about this term mood reader, and at that time I didn't really get it. I was like, no, I have a set TBR. I'm a planner girl, okay? I'm a planner. I have my set things that I want to do at certain times and what books I want to read. So a TBR for me literally just made sense. But after going through February and March, I'm like, okay, I think I can get a hang of mood reading. It's actually really fun to shop my collection. That's something that I also want to do here on the channel. I want to show you guys my bookcase and also do a library tour, because I really took so much time, and I didn't buy all these books all at once, but I really took time. I will treat myself here and there to, a new book, and I built a beautiful library that I want to share with y'all, because now I get to shop my library. Besides the books that I already have pre-ordered, other than that, there's really nothing else calling my attention besides the books on my bookshelf, which is amazing. I know for my birthday this year, and I know I'm talking a lot, y'all, bear with me. These are Chit Chatty videos, okay? For my birthday this year, I want to go to Barnes and Noble. I've never been to Barnes and Noble, you guys. I want to go to Barnes and Noble, and I was telling my cousin I want to do a birthday photo shoot in Barnes and Noble for my birthday. I'm going to turn 33, and I want to do some shopping in there. I want to have a cafecito. I just want to have such a great time in Barnes and Noble for my first time. It just sucks because I really want to go with someone and experience this with someone, but I might just end up going by myself, and that's okay too. Don't let first experiences, if you're doing it alone, don't let that, psych you up from not doing it. Do it, girl. Anywho, what was I talking about? My library. I got to give you guys a library tour eventually. Anywho, yeah, let's get into April's TBR. So the first book we have here is Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, Taylor Jenkins Reid is just a comfort author for me. I have read After I Do. I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which y'all know I talked about and I hyped up so much. We have to talk about that book because, oh wow, okay? But either way, despite my feelings about the book, I still gave it a 5 stars. I love it. I still think about the characters in that book to this day, okay? I just love Taylor Jenkins Reid. She just allows me to continue to think of her characters in the books, and I don't know, like I said, comfort author for me. The way that she writes, the way that she explains, the way that she adds a little bit of wisdom in her books. I don't know, I just love it so freaking much. So I picked up this one. This one talks about Hannah Martin, and she has no idea what she wants to do with her life. She has lived in 6 different cities. She has held countless meaningless, and now she's on the heels of a disastrous breakup, and she finally returns home to Los Angeles to celebrate her first night back. Her friend Gabby takes her out to a bar where she bumps into her high school boyfriend Ethan. Now, why am I so excited about this book? Because I have not read a second chance romance, possibly. I don't know if this is a romance, probably like a contemporary romance, we'll see. But I have not read a second chance romance from Taylor Jenkins Reid. So her thought process, the way that she's going to have these characters communicate to each other, just the whole experience is going to be quite new, so I'm very excited about that. The next book I have here is The Cuban Heiress by Chanel Cleaton. Now this book, y'all, I fell in love, like I said, with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I went to a local bookstore. If you guys follow me on the gram, you already know I went to my first indie bookstore, and I was like, listen, I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love historical fiction. Who am I? I love it. Point me in the right direction. She goes, you have to check out Chanel Cleaton and check out her books because those are like really historical fictions, and I think you're gonna love it. Her writing style is amazing, yada yada yada. I'm like, sold. So I picked this one up. Now this one, and I think I told you guys plenty of times in the past that I'm not a big fan of like past, present, like, leave me there. I want to stay in the past. That's the kind of historical fiction that I want. So this one dates back to 1934 when a luxury cruise becomes a fight for survival as 2 women's paths collide on a round-trip voyage from New York to Havana in this page-turning new novel inspired by the true story of the SS Mauro Castell. Now, what's interesting about this book, you guys, doesn't that sound so good? What's interesting about this book is that the 2 women here who are fighting for their lives are not who they say they are. So there's a little bit of a mystery going on here. I don't know if it's a thriller just yet, but I don't think so. But if it is, we shall see. But y'all, I'm really excited to get into that one. And the next book we have here is 10,000 Doors of January from Alex Haro. Now, what's really interesting about this book, first of all, it came highly recommended by the bookstore owner from Spellbound in Sanford. She just raved about this book, and so did another worker there. They were actually going back and forth on who loves it more. I don't know who loves it more, but they both love it equally. And the way that they kind of like sang its praises to me, I was just like, okay, I have to get it. And honestly, it sounds so beautiful. Let me read it to you. It says, as the ward of the wealthy Mr. Luck, January feels a little different from the artifacts that decorate his sprawling mansion carefully maintained, largely ignored, and utterly out of place. But when she finds a strange book, one that tells the tale of secret doors, of love, adventure, and danger, for the first time, January realizes she can escape her story and sneak into someone else's. How good does that sound? And I'm telling you right now, the author praises in the back just sound really good. This one right here is what really got me. This is a love letter to imagination, adventure, the written words, the power of many kinds of love. Ooh, I cannot wait to get into this one. It has a little bit of historical fiction, maybe, because I think it's dated in the past as well. I think that's what she said. She also said it has a little bit of magical realism in there, so it's just a slightly fantasy as well. It's just honestly a mixture of everything, a little bit of romance, of course. I mean, honestly, all that in here sounds amazing. The next book we are getting into, you guys, is the Miss Kennedy Ryan, This Could Be Us. I read Before I Let Go, and y'all, the way that book made me feel, it made me feel seen. The things that they talked about in the book were so raw, so real, so honest, and I love all the characters' dialogue. I love how everything just felt so authentic and not watered down by any means. One thing I love about books, and a lot of y'all can just contest to this too, is that as you're reading the books, you have an insight to the character's mind versus watching TV. You hear the words, but you don't get to see or you don't get to hear what they're thinking. You know what I mean? With my characters, we get to have an insight to what they're thinking. And even in her character's thoughts, they were so raw and so honest and so blunt. And I feel like I connected with her writing style, with her character so much, because I often think like that too. I often act like that too. I have a potty mouth like that too. So I just feel so connected, especially the last few chapters of the book. I mean, the beginning of the book really captivates you, sucks you in. Middle of the book, you're like, oh my God, this is so, so good. And then at the end, you're like, oh my God. The moment where Yasmin and her therapist meet and they have that conversation about, not to spoil it, but just depression and anxiety. I have never felt so seen, okay, in a book. Just amazing. So I just knew I needed to continue this series. Now, this series talks about Soledad, which is one of my favorite characters from the first book, which I'm so excited that they're giving some of the characters more light and we get to get into their story. Now, Soledad is a single mom, or at that time in her book, she's not a single mom, but at this one now, she is getting into that single mom realm and getting a divorce and doing all the things. And Soledad, she's a planner, okay? She is a planner. She fixes everything. There is not a party that she has not met that she can handle, okay? But none of her varied talents help when the life she built with the man she was supposed to have her forever with goes poof into the clouds of betrayal and disillusion. There's a story there. There's a story. And we got a little bit of the story in Before I Let Go. This one is going to talk about it so much more. I am so eager to see how the characters just support Soledad. I'm so intrigued to see how she manages this topic of separation and divorce and actually like staying divorced. I haven't read the rest of the synopsis here, but I'm just imagining that, you know, is Soledad going to have her moment? Is she going to find the love of her life? You know what I mean? After her divorce? Because Sis is getting divorced. We definitely got a hint of that in the last book. She not staying with that man, okay? So I cannot wait. I just cannot wait to get into this book. And the last book we have here is Bring Me Your Midnights by Rachel Griffin. This is going to be a romantasy for sure, a forbidden romance. I don't know anything much about this book, but let me just read you the beginning of the synopsis. And one thing about me, you guys, when it comes to my fantasy books, okay, listen, first of all, this is the first book when I removed the dust jacket. The book is actually gorgeous underneath. Like I literally want to display just this on the bookshelf. And I also love, let me show y'all real quick. Look at this, y'all. Tell me this does not look so good. I just love this book so much. He comes alive in the darkness, so darkness I be. Oh, I can't wait to get into this book. But I wanted to show you guys the map. Look at the beautiful, beautiful map. One thing about me, you guys, when it comes to my fantasies, like I said, I need to have a map. I need to envision and picture where everything is just laid out. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. But let me read you the synopsis really quick, just to give you an idea. Because like I said, I think this is going to be a forbidden romance. Her life has been planned out since the moment she was born. She is to marry the governor's son, Landon, and secure an unprecedented alliance between the witches of her island home and the mainlanders who see her very existence as a threat. That's all I want to read. That's all I want to read. I cannot wait to get into this. You want to know something else when it comes to my fantasy books? I typically don't do this when it comes to like my contemporary romance books or anything like that, my historical fiction. But when it comes to my fantasies, I do this because fantasy sometimes is hard to read. The Hakatar series was really hard to read sometimes. So what I like to do, I just take the book and I kind of like flip through it. I stop at a certain page and I read like the first 2 paragraphs or the last 2 paragraphs just to see if it's easy enough for me to grasp and understand. Try to get a little hint, a little sliver, a little crumb of the author's writing style. And this one looks super, super easy to read. I also like that the words are like spaced out, giving me time to process and annotate and highlight. That's another thing, you guys, when it comes to my fantasy books, I love to annotate the heck out of it because that's how I'm like able to retain information, like names, characters, locations. I kind of give everyone a certain color. I think I have maybe like 4 color highlighters with me at the time when I'm annotating, just to give everyone their own little section, highlight dialogue, highlight, you know, quotes and stuff like that. Maybe I'll do a video like that with you guys where we spend one vlog or something annotating and reading. I think that would be so cool. But anywho, that is it, you guys. That is our April TBR. Now you know the drill. If you're new here, learn the drill. If I have mentioned any books that you have read here, let me know in the comments your thoughts, your takeaways. Am I gonna love it? Did you love it? All the things. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And until the next video, bye for now.